This episode's brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is absolutely the best place to play fantasy sports, including best ball, daily drafts, and pick'em. Start drafting in minutes for a shot at big cash. Sign up and make sure to use the promo code DNA, and as a first-time depositor, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100 with the DNA promo code. So what are you waiting for? Join Underdog Fantasy. Trust me, it's in our DNA. And now, on to the newest episode of Dynasty DNA. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, where we talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, fantasy rankings, and everything NFL. Join us and dominate your Dynasty League. It's in your DNA. And here's your host, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand Crew. Yes, I'm the host of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, TJ Blake. You can find me on Twitter at FFTJBlakeDNA. And as always, we're joined by our show architect and co-host, the A-Train Andy Blake. You can find him over on Twitter at FFATrainDNA. How you doing today, Ian?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, brother. And next in the line order, we got the producer and co-host, Ty Blake. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA. Ty, how you doing today, Ty?
Pretty good. How's it going?
We're doing good. And last but not least, it's the guy that never disappoints. He never lets you down. It's Muscles Ryan Mail. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA. Mus, how you doing today, Mus?
I got a lot of women that will disagree with that.
I knew you'd have some kind of good comment. But, you know, we're going to be hopping in here. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be talking about some teams that disappointed us, some teams that we were really happy with, some players that maybe we're worried about. We're going to have a worry meter on some players. We're going to talk some of that. We're also going to talk some good value players. And, of course, at the very end of the show, you're going to get the Underdog Stack of the Week. We're all going to give you our Stack of the Week as far as Underdog goes. But we're going to really get into this Week 1 stuff. We're trying to digest it. And I know you could contest to this, Ann. I don't panic too much after Week 1 anymore.
No, I mean, you got to remember last year, too. Look at CD Lamb. We were all really worried about CD Lamb. He looked like shit, and then he was fine.
Yeah.
But then you got to think about guys like Carson Wentz, who came up and tore it up Week 1 last year. Carson Wentz don't have a job as of today. I mean, could he go to the Jets? But, I mean, is he Aaron Rodgers? Is he really anything? There's a reason why it hasn't been brought in. So, something to put in the back of your mind. Now, there's other guys that you do have to react on, and that's why we're doing this show today, because we're going to try to determine some guys that we are going to react and some guys that, hey, we're not going to overreact. It's Week 1.
Definitely. We're going to try sifting through the problems. Will this be a problem that will recur every week, possibly?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just an anomaly? And like we talked, anymore, Week 1 is almost like an extension of the preseason almost.
Yeah.
Some of these guys don't play.
Yeah.
And there's injuries, and that's why they didn't play. And there's just a lot to go into it.
There was a lot of quarterbacks, too, that just didn't look good. I mean, even the best of the best, like Burrow, he just got paid. Yeah, there was a meme of Andy Dalton after he got paid with a little shit grin. That was pretty good. But, you got to remember, too, Burrow didn't play at all in preseason dealing with the calf, so he didn't even practice as much as a lot of these other guys did. And if you really go back and watch a game, you can tell a lot of stuff was just off. A lot of the timing routes.
Right.
So that's stuff that it'll get better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're going to get into all that. I cannot wait to start talking about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But we're going to always open things up like we always do. I'm going to bring up the Discord, guys. This thing's right up around 70 members right now, active all the time. I'm telling you, it's a great tool. And I just love sharing it because when you're in the middle of a season, you start sit question. Boom. You could type it in there. You have access to me, Ty, Muscles, Andy. All of us are over there. You can message us privately, or you could put it right in the one of the tabs in the Discord, and we could talk about it. Trade questions.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good minds on there. And if you do, want to talk to one of us private, send us a message. I know for me, I'm grinding out film. I'm trying to determine things to help everybody that listens and help myself as well. So I'm not as active at the moment on Discord, but if you send me a private message, I'll definitely get back to you.
Absolutely. I know we all will. And that's what it's all about. We're here to help you try to win championships. And the Discord's a nice tool for that. And like Andy said, even if you don't talk to us, there's a lot of great minds over there.
Mm-hmm.
Also want to bring up the website, dynastydna.net, guys. You got to go over there and check it out. I mention it every week. All the great writers we have: Candid Fantasy Football, Aiden Grover. We got Mike Shanuti. We got Preston Evans. We got Fantasy Front Office. We got Swift is him. And of course, our good friend, Dynasty Wiz, Nicholas Holt. And I cannot wait to talk to him because, we're going to talk a little Bears stuff.
Yeah.
I can't say too much because he's a Ravens fan. We didn't look good. So
No.
I can't give him too hard of a time, but he's a good egg. And I'll tell you what, he's a great football mind. I'm telling you guys, they have articles on there all the time. They're great people. We trust them, and they're all on the Discord as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to connect with them, I trust them just as much as anybody. So you got to go over there and check that out. But before we start talking and breaking down anything here in week 1, we're going over to the breaking news with Muss.
All right. Joe Burrow gets paid 5-year extension, $275 million, $219 guaranteed.
Yeah, it's a big contract.
Yeah. So.
He deserves it. I mean, I know that he had a bad game, but he deserves it.
And if I'm a Cincinnati fan, I'm glad that got done.
Yeah, it's just in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Yep. Puts it to rest.
Cooper Kupp to the IR. So he'll be out
for 4 weeks at least.
He'll be out for at least 4 weeks. Austin Eckler is dealing with an ankle injury, so that's something to monitor.
And he looked good. He was somebody who was a little bit lower on because I was scared with the pass game. And they did utilize Josh Kelly. I mean, and Josh Kelly looked good.
And let me say this with Austin Eckler. It is a concern because they're saying high ankle sprain.
Yeah, this can linger for a while.
Yeah, they said this could be a few weeks. And I know we're going to be bringing up Joshua Kelly, but if he's available, that's someone you got to get.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Evan Hall suffers a knee injury. That's kind of a bummer for him.
Yeah.
Greg Dulcich, leg injury, out for several weeks.
That's bad.
Yeah. We were sitting here toting Dulcich here, but
I know that kills Ty.
No, it does with that Denver offense. Woof. It's starting to
I
get
thought
pretty,
Russell Wilson looked okay.
Yeah, he didn't look half bad.
He didn't, but they lost to the Raiders.
I know
They
it's
did,
the
they
Raiders.
did.
That's not good.
They did. I can't disagree with that. Aaron Jones, hamstring injury, probably going to be doubtful for this week.
What a shame because he looked good.
He's the best player on the field.
Give him the rock.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for how long? Give him the rock.
And-
but what a shame.
And we're going to get into some more Packers talk, but we kind of thought with Jordan Love, a young quarterback, that he was going to get Aaron Jones involved, and he did, man. It just sucks with this hamstring. It's horrible, bad timing.
Oh, especially with Watson and Dobbs banged. Well, Watson being out and Dobbs banged up. I had Jones in every one of my DraftKings lineups.
Oh, I did too, and
Yep.
absolutely smashed.
Oh, you did.
And AJ Dillon just looks like a big slug, like exactly what we thought.
They love him for some
I know.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider starting him week 2, AJ Dillon?
Hell
Yeah.
no.
Really?
I'm not. AJ Dillon's just AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I just feel like he's going to get the volume.
Oh, he'll get volume. I just feel like there's better options. Like
They're
I
probably
would rather play Josh Kelly if I can pick Josh Kelly up
Yeah.
than AJ Dillon personally.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like
yeah.
it just depends who you have. Like,
Right. But do you think like AJ Dillon like creeps up that running back 2 this week?
Playing Atlanta.
Oh,
playing Atlanta, it's a possibility. Yeah, Atlanta's not great.
it's a possibility because honestly, as good as Green Bay looked, I mean, it depends on health. I mean,
Yeah.
they could be down some guys, but if they do what they did against Chicago, they could run the ball a lot in the second half.
Yeah,
But it just depends on how good of a start they get out to.
yeah, and I think that's just what you're predicting your game flow to be. And if he gets in the end zone, he's got to get in the end zone to get you points. He's
Yes.
just like Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Very 20 carries, 60 yards.
Because he's very
volume dependent.
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
volume dependent, but he's very he don't catch passes.
He can, but they just seem to go to
Yeah.
Aaron Jones there.
Right. Which I mean, they
Which
should.
is I
they
would
should.
too.
You know?
Yeah. Jacoby Myers has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol.
What a
so-
shame. He looked great.
Yeah.
He did look great. Which, why did the Patriots ever get rid of him?
If I feel like if they would have had Jacoby Myers, they had a chance to beat the Eagles.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he looked really, really good.
Yeah, he's better than Juju.
That was a complete bonehead move. But, oh well. Hamstring injury for Deontay Johnson.
Oh, big surprise. Who had that on their bingo card?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy always gets hurt. I'm sick, and we're going to get into some Steelers talk, but I'm sick of Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor trying to come back week 5 after he's eligible to come back off the PUP list.
And this, Anthony Richardson coming out and I thought Anthony Richardson played really well.
Yeah.
I mean, in the preseason, he had his struggles, but he came out division game against the best in the division in the Jacksonville Jaguars and did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Thought Steichen did a good job getting people open, and I'm sure we'll get into more of that. But, like, this could be positive news for Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor sees and says, hey, maybe we don't suck.
Yeah.
If Jonathan Taylor was there, would that game have swung a different way? I think it absolutely could have. I mean, Deion Jackson didn't do shit, fumbled the ball. You look at Evan Hall was hurt, Zach Moss was out, so this could be positive news.
And it could have gave Anthony Richardson even a little more confidence knowing the player that you got behind you is
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, that's kind of a little safety blanket because a lot of these teams both went for it on fourth down a lot.
Yeah.
And really, like I said, I really wasn't a big believer, and I know it's only one game, but really impressive performance with the weapons he was dealt with this week.
Yep.
So,
And hey, just how did Alec Pierce do in that game?
Goose egg, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad. Well, Michael Pittman looked good, though. But okay, on to the next one.
Yeah. J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles.
I'm sorry. This is it for J.K. Dobbins. You know, I know there's some people out there still believe. You cannot believe in this guy. He's hurt every year. And now I say it, man, with Achilles injuries for a running back, and I talked to Andy about this yesterday, it's a kiss of death.
Yeah, and shout out to the Alpha League. Me and Musk made a deal.
Yeah.
You gave me a 25 third, and I gave you Dobbins. And, I mean, it sucked to do it, but I'm like you. I mean, as we talked, I just, he had the ACL tear.
Right.
He comes back the next year, and he's still not right. He's still running good. I mean, look what he did against Pittsburgh, being at like fucking 75%.
Yeah.
And then he comes out this year, looks good against the Texans, and now it's the Achilles. Man, it's not good. I can just see him being out of the league.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you see this with a lot of guys, but if you can put him on the IR, like for you obviously believe in him a little bit, and you got him on the cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
You sent out, I'll let you explain what you did.
Yeah, pretty much every one of my leagues, I sent out a fourth, and they've all got rejected. I haven't had one come through. I mean, I'm like,
I'm not giving him up for a fourth. I'd rather just put him on my IR.
I'm just like, for a fourth, I'll gamble it.
Mhm.
I mean, if he does come back, you could trade him.
Yeah.
Even if you don't believe in him, as soon as he gets put on the field, you could probably trade him for a third.
Right. I think for me, accepting that deal is, can I take that third and my other third and move up into the second?
Right.
Can I take that third, another third, and move off a guy like, I know I have Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like, could I move that if he gets some kind of hype and try to move up to the second? So that's all I'm trying to do. And if I'm standing there, maybe you get a Puka Nacua, who I'm sure we'll go over.
Yeah.
Had a great game, and some of these other later round guys that have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a guy on his. He's on his contract year this year, next year. I mean,
and I'm not trying to speculate anything. He wanted paid. He wanted paid really bad.
Yeah.
And for what? Did he know something's not right? And he wanted to try to make his money.
Yeah, you could be right.
And I'm not good for him. I mean, I feel bad. He didn't get his money.
Yeah,
like he's a very good running back that could end up just being out of the league. Yeah. We never knew what J.K. Dobbins could have been.
He very well could. It was just one of those. I'll gamble it. I mean, he's still kind of on the younger side.
Yeah, yeah.
I really liked his tape coming out. He was a guy that I liked coming into the draft. So it's like, if we could see even 80% of that, 75% of that, he might be a viable back.
Oh yeah.
And his contract's up, so he might be able to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
it's just a lot of things have to go J.K. Dobbins' way.
Right. And he did have injuries. So, I mean, I know he had the ACL tear and obviously now the Achilles, but like he doesn't have that much wear on him either. It's not like he between tackles 400 times a year.
Yeah, I agree, Musk. But the thing is, though, with the injuries, these are devastating.
Oh,
injuries.
yeah, 100%. 100%.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's a fair deal.
Oh, yeah,
J.K.
fair
Dobbins.
Deal. Yeah.
You're taking a gamble this way. I'm going this way.
Yeah, fair deal.
And let me say this. I mean, possibly as a rebuild or middle road, I mean, you take a shot on Dobbins for cheap like that, and you do get him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe next year you hope maybe you can flip him for a second early.
Yeah.
If something goes good.
Yeah.
And that's your best hope.
It's definitely a shame for him because he's such an underrated player. 5.7 yards per carry career. I mean, that's
Oh,
super impressive. You hear that with Nick Chubb all the time. He's above that 5-yard echelon yards per carry, and everyone is all over that. So
Dobbins wasn't to me on the level of Chubb as far as a good pure runner goes, but he is one of the better ones in the league.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
And that's what's a shame about all this. I mean, he just cannot stay healthy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously the Monday night, Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. So
Boy, that what a blow to the Jets, man.
Oh, I seen a thing. He played in New York Jets uniform for 75 seconds.
yeah,
That's I fucking feel bad for the guy. Like I really do. Like I know, some of you like I know Musk. You can't stand Aaron Rodgers. He can be an asshole, but I like him.
yeah,
And I just feel bad. And I do feel bad for the Jets fans. What you got to do now? You have Brees Hall, who looked phenomenal.
Brees Hall looked really good.
Dalvin Cook looked like Dalvin Cook, just kind of,
the defense
average.
looked incredible.
The defense looked incredible. I mean, and I feel bad for Garrett Wilson. I mean, I seen a thing where Garrett Wilson said to Aaron Rodgers, told him, "Sorry, kid." Like, it's like, oh, man, I want to cry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like this is the big question with Aaron Rodgers. What happens now?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he probably comes back.
I hope
But-
so. I don't want to see him go out like that.
Me either. But there's always in the back of your mind. I mean, he is 40 years old. I mean, does he really want to put himself through this rehab? I do think he'll be back though, because it seems like he really loves the Jets team.
Yeah.
I mean, he did. We were all talking, is he going to buy in? He bought in, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he was all in. He was
Yeah.
going to try to help that football team as much as he could. I do think that he comes back next year, but we'll see what happens.
He's going to bring a good presence of just pure knowledge to that team, even on the sideline. So
yeah.
it's going to be Zach Wilson. Do they bring in a Carson Wentz? Do they trade for Jacoby Brissett, a Jameis Winston? Possibly. But it's just not looking good. I mean, you're really any of them guys going to be able to take you to the promised land.
Yeah.
It's just not good. Now, we did talk. What if Tom Brady were to come back?
Oh yeah.
And
That'd be cool.
I know a lot of people are like, no way, you're stupid. Well, I bet you there's a 50% chance. And here's why. Because they have a good enough team that they could put around Tom Brady.
Yep.
Could he win one more?
Do
Yep.
you think he goes back to that division though against the Patriots?
Oh, I don't think it bothers him.
Really?
I don't think it bothers him.
I almost think he would want to beat him.
Yeah, to prove, his
Yeah.
dominance.
Yeah.
Also, to throw in too, this affects the Packers because in that trade clause, if he played,
Yeah.
what was it? A certain percentage.
60%.
And they get it first to a
it-
second.
So it is going to be a second for them now.
Yeah. So good news for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, with the Jets, I mean, there's two things if there's any silver lining, and it's hard to spin it with this. I mean, they had Super Bowl aspirations. Let's be honest. But I mean, if you're looking at two little glimmers of sunshine maybe through this whole thing, now you don't got to give up that first.
Right.
And Brees Hall looked good.
Yeah, he did. And I think another thing to bring back with the Brady, I think he is the only one out there that is smart enough, that's been in the league, that can learn this offense right now to give them any sort of chance.
I seen two other names: Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Rivers.
I don't think Ben. We've seen his arm.
I seen Matt Ryan too is another one.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Ryan's good enough. I don't even know if Tom Brady's good enough, but I think that would give him any kind of hope, and I think it would bring fans hope back as well, that maybe they could rally around, because you have two good running backs
Yeah.
and you have a phenomenal defense. So the quarterback has to do very minimal, but there's going to be situations where the quarterback's got to win you the game, and Zach Wilson's not that guy.
It's built just like the 49ers.
Yeah.
You could just get a game manager in there. And
I'm telling. If I was a Jets, I'd go after a guy like Gardner Minshew. I love.
Yeah,
Gardner
I think that would
Minshew.
be a good one.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I still don't see them going all the way,
No,
unless it's Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is the only one that gives them any hope, and he probably won't. But I'm putting it at 50-50. I still think there's a chance.
I could see it.
How do you guys feel about Brady? Do you think there's any chance?
I just don't see him going to that division. Just after, he just got in the Hall of Fame for the Patriots. I just don't see him going to that division. It would be wild.
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely wild. But we'll see.
If anyone could step in on a short season, it'd be Tom Brady. But I think he's done, man. I just do. I think it's going to take a lot for him to come back out of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do you have to prove? He won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. He won with the Patriots multiple times. So he's won one in the AFC. He's won one in the NFC. So he's really accomplished about everything.
But if you had a chance to win one shot,
Yeah.
One opportunity.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
To seize everything you've ever wanted.
Something about mom's spaghetti.
Something about a trailer park.
Yeah.
I think I think they will make a call because I think you have to make a call.
Yeah.
But I would say probably less than 20% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the Jets did come out and say Zach Wilson's our guy, but
yeah. Of course they're going to say
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
Zach Wilson does not look good.
No.
He is just, he's not it.
Right.
You just see it with certain guys, and he's not it.
Yep.
So I mean that's all I got for the breaking news.
What a blow to the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should have kept Mike White.
Oh yeah, they. I never knew why they
I
got rid of
didn't
him
either.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Moss. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you going over that. Really glad we got all that in. There was a lot of talk about with injury news and everything like that. And like I said, really, really stuff that's earth shattering stuff like with the Aaron Rodgers. But here we are now. Week 1's over. We're going to be headed into week 2. And we got to really digest this. Like I said, we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. First thing I want to talk about is some of these quarterbacks in their play during the first week of the season. Maybe some guys that surprised us. Maybe some guys that, really let us down. But we're going to start with some surprise performances, some players we liked. And the first one we're going to talk about is Brock Purdy. We got to see this up close and personal. The 49ers just absolutely kicked our ass. I mean, I'll say this.
yeah.
We did not play well, and I'm not trying to sit here and say, make excuses for us, but we didn't play well, but the 49ers played really well. I mean, they look good. They look like me to a team that in a weak NFC conference, they could go all the way, man. And I'm buying into Brock Purdy now because our defense is no joke. Patrick Peterson was running his mouth talking shit. He went right after him, burned him for 2 touchdowns. This offense has so many weapons. I mean, they're hard to stop. The defense is really good, stopping the run, stopping the pass. They're just a complete football team, possibly the best head coach in the game, at least one of them. But I really like what I seen with Brock Purdy. I was worried about the elbow, but with what I have, no more questions. Solid quarterback too for a long time, especially in this offense. But I'm going to open up to you guys. What did you think of Brock Purdy?
Thought he looked tremendous.
Yeah, he did.
And he left off right where he was last year. Guy with Brock Purdy, I was worried about the elbow. That was my main concern. I was like, if the elbow's fine, I'm cool with him. And if you have Brock Purdy, I think you just hit a gold mine. I really do, because I think he gives you quarterback one upside because he's in such a good offense.
Oh my gosh.
And just the way that they run the offense. I mean, Brandon Ayuk, he looked great. George Kittle was banged up, still getting some play. Debo looks healthy, looking good. McCaffrey. I mean, they were blowing us off the line so bad, it's not even funny. When Christian McCaffrey's going 10 yards down the field before he's getting touched, this is what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And he can do it whenever he's getting touched at the line.
Right.
So, yeah, San Fran looks good.
I didn't realize how athletic Brock Purdy was.
Yeah.
Like he looked pretty. I mean, he was, dodging defenders and
Cole Holcomb. That was disgusting. It was a kind of a shitty juke, and he just boom right on the ground. Like, Mika Fitzpatrick, same thing. I mean, that one was a little bit better because it was a blindside. It kind of turned.
right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. The Steelers got some work to do, but don't discount Brock Purdy because of that, because he is good.
Yeah, I really like what I seen last year, but after that week 1 performance, he's the real deal. I think we all got to kind of believe that now. In that offense, man, he's going to put up a ton of points. I mean, he has so much confidence in himself. And I think that's what really propels the guy, because you can just see it. I mean, the confidence just comes right out of the dude. He's a calm, chilled dude, and he can play football.
Yeah.
And the thing is, man, like this team is so underrated, like by so many people as far as even fantasy aspects go. How about Brandon Ayuk?
Oh,
This is a player that we really like. We've really liked him for a long time.
Yeah.
And just does not get the credit. And man, he just put on a show this game. But the bad thing with the 49ers, you could see different guys having bigger games.
Right.
But we know this is Brandon Ayuk's contract year.
Yeah.
Does he get out of the 49ers? That's a little bit of a concern because where does he go? He fits the 49ers. But boy, I'm telling you, man, is he someone, you could buy for a fair price, has a great season, then next year before he leaves, could you flip him and get even more?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a good candidate for that, but I really liked what I seen out of him as well.
Yeah.
But the 49ers look good, man, no doubt about it. This one's a surprise. I had him as a sit, and I could not believe it when I was seeing it. Mac Jones.
Mac 10.
Mac 10 looked really good. I mean, hey, it's one game. Like I said, we don't want to get carried away. But I think with New England finally getting an offensive coordinator and Bill O'Brien, not having, the two defensive guys that they had last year, not even having a true offensive coordinator really hurt him. But having a true offense now with Bill O'Brien, I think that really helped Mac Jones. But going up against the Eagles, man, I was surprised the numbers he put up. How'd you guys think of Mac Jones, and what do you expect for him for the season now?
Shows that coaching matters. They bring in an offensive coordinator. Hunter Henry had a phenomenal game.
Mhm.
We kind of predicted this to be Gesicki, I think.
Yes.
How we were saying.
I did, yeah.
And it was Hunter Henry. So
Hunter Henry finished tight end 1, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%, but he had a hell of a game.
Yeah, I think he's
And
tight end 1.
he looked really good. So I think you'll see spike weeks out of Henry and Gesicki. I think both will probably be doing this.
Yeah.
And as we talked earlier, I mean, if they had Jacoby Myers, they should have just signed him.
Yeah.
They really should have. I'm not a big Juju fan. And, I mean, on the ground, too, Ramondre, he had some catches. I don't think he looked great between the tackles, though, but this is a Philly defense. It was a tough defense. Under 4 yards a carry for Ramondre. So not great for him, but a lot of these offenses underwhelmed.
Right.
But as everybody underwhelmed, Mac Jones stepped up to the occasion and played a good game against a hard defense.
Yeah, and another player I want to bring up, and I want to get you guys' feelings on this because I was talking about this on Fantasy Tips last night with Straight Tipping. This is a guy on the waiver wire that everyone's going crazy for, but I know he's famous for spike games, is Kendrick Bourne. I mean, he had a nice game again. I mean, he's capable of doing this, but he seems like a spiky player. I mean, do you guys think he sustains it or he continues that spike stuff?
Yeah, he's kind of been like that his whole career, a spike player. I really wouldn't want too many shares of him. But, I mean, he's a decent player, maybe in like a best ball.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, but
It's just hard to say who's going to take off in that Patriots offense.
definitely.
And I agree with that. And that's why I wanted to
Yeah.
bring it up because that's what I said. He's just such a spike player. We've seen him do this so many times in the past. And the thing is, you don't want to give up, any kind of decent draft capital or, prospect pool for a guy like Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, then it's hard to put him in your lineup because, I mean, with his floor.
Yeah. I mean,
He could put up a goose egg just as easy as he could put up 30.
it's like when you watch, like Kendrick Bourne's literally like that guy, like that earthquake thing, like the Richter scale thing where it goes,
Yeah.
and it goes way down to that's him. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Like he can do that. Week 1, okay, he went off. He'll probably disappear to week 5 or 6,
Yep.
and then he'll do it again.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah.
If you actually put him in your lineup, you're sweating.
Yeah, for sure. But I wanted to bring that up.
It's just it'd be nice if you could identify any of them, but I mean, we didn't see anything Devontae Parker.
No.
I know on Underdog it was like 42.5 yards or something. It's like I'm smashing the under.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he was on the field. I
Right.
didn't hear anything of Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with that. He was kind of a disappointment. Didn't hear anything from him. Didn't really hear anything from anyone in that Patriots wide receiver room outside of Kendrick Bourne. So, going to move on to the next guy, and we touched on him a little bit in the opener. It's Anthony Richardson, man. I mean, going back to what Ty said, I was surprised and really, because I thought this was such a bad situation for him in this offense, man. I thought he was going to struggle. They don't have a lot of weapons. Michael Pittman helped step up to the plate, gave him some good catches. But outside of that, man, he really didn't have much, but he tried to put that team on his back, played the best team in the division. And I mean, he made Jacksonville sweat a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from an NFL standpoint, I really like what I seen. The one from the fantasy standpoint, I didn't like. He's taking some big shots.
Yeah.
I think he needs to stay away from that because we've seen what happened to guys like Cam Newton, which
Yeah.
had similar builds where they're MVP candidates, but then they've taken so many big blows through the years that they just kind of wash away. And I think that's something that Richardson's got to do is start getting out of bounds more and quit trying to be a superhero all the time.
Yeah. For him, I think he's just really trying to make a play because he's a rookie, and the game was on the line. I know, unfortunately, the one play he has a bruised knee, I believe,
Yeah.
but he was trying to win. I mean, he was trying to get in the end zone. You're going to see a lot of targets to Michael Pittman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we kind of said this because it's like a hyper target situation. He's going to go to his guy.
Security blanket.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it's Michael Pittman, and Michael Pittman is good.
Yeah.
I mean, took the screen to the house. I don't know how long it was, but it was a nice play. And if you get Jonathan Taylor in there, maybe A-Rich won't take as many shots. Maybe he won't get hit so much because they can kind of run the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
I was just impressed with the young guys, like, attitude towards winning the game. He was not intimidated whatsoever. I mean, he's a young guy. I mean, he was not intimidated whatsoever playing the best team in the division. And like Andy said, Michael Pittman, man, he's going to see 10 plus targets a game.
yeah.
I mean, just by default,
Right.
like you said, we said this, they got nobody
Mm-mm.
that you can trust outside of him. So really like what we've seen out of Anthony Richardson, man. Hopefully he can keep it going. I mean, that was a good start against a team like Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But we're going to go over to the next guy, and I'm happy about this. Jordan Love, quarterback, Green Bay Packers, man. I've been touting the Green Bay offense all off season. I think they're going to be better than people thought. Really liked what I seen, man. And I trust Matt LaFleur. This is the biggest reason. Offensive-minded coach. Aaron Jones is there. Aaron Jones had a phenomenal game, as we mentioned. But, the veteran leadership of the Green Bay Packers, offensive, style coach, they really made it easy for Jordan Love. But I will give credit to the Green Bay defense.
Yeah.
Green Bay's defense is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really liked what I seen. They got after Justin Fields. We're going to get into some Bears stuff, but Jordan Love, man, I mean, I think, as a quarterback too, he could be really, really good this year.
Yeah, he looked really good. They were missing Christian Watson. Romeo Doubs stepped up, somebody I've been a little lower on, but man, Romeo Doubs down in the red zone looks good.
That's where
Yeah.
he's his best.
He looks good down in the red zone. I thought Jaden Reed played exceptionally well.
Yeah, Luke
being a
Musgrave.
rookie. Yeah, Musgrave played good. It really seems like Jordan Love, taking this time to wait. Could this be what's different in the NFL? Could teams start doing this instead of throwing them in to the Wolves like they usually do? I mean, we're seeing young starting Stroud. It's nice if you can be behind a future Hall of Famer and Aaron Rodgers and just pick up on stuff.
Yeah.
Just be around that environment. Be around seeing the different types of things he does. And did the Packers do it again? Did they go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love?
They might have hit the jackpot once again.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, but he did look damn good.
Yeah.
Good ball placement, seemed pretty calm.
Well, that goes back to, like, I watched the one play where the ball was snapped and it hit the ground. He picked it up and did not panic. He looked down the field, and Luke Musgrave was just standing there, and he threw it to him. And I thought that was confident. That was calm.
Yeah.
That made me happy when I seen that.
Yeah, he didn't dance around with the ball.
And Luke almost he almost tripped over his own feet.
Well, that's what they said. They're like, if he would have kept running, he would have scored a touchdown. He stopped kind of, but he's a rookie. But I will go back to that draft class. They had a phenomenal draft class. They brought in weapons to help the kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They got Aaron Jones there, who's just, reliable as a reliable gets. I know he's kind of banged up now, so that sucks. But Matt LaFleur, man, he is a good coach.
What I seen too, and it didn't work out, but I loved it, was that, no pun intended. But whenever it was going to be a third down play and they went to a hurry up, and then they got back in the huddle and went back out, that made Chicago not be able to put in their third down defense.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really intelligent play. I don't know if he did it, LaFleur did it, but even though it didn't work out, that's the kind of shit I like to see.
Yeah, that's
positive.
Yeah, that's showing your knowledge of the game and your growth as a player that you can
Mhm.
even try to pull something like that off.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe sitting a while, he's seen this, he digested it all.
Yeah.
I just really liked what I seen from the Packers.
Seeing like from what you guys seen week 1 in that division, who do you think takes it after what you've seen?
Detroit will still win as long as everyone stays healthy. They got so many. I love Dan Campbell too. I mean, he went to Arrowhead and knocked off the Chiefs. I know they didn't have Travis Kelce, but they got a lot of weapons. That defense is pretty good itself. It's a lot better than I even thought it was in Detroit. But I do think Green Bay is going to be right there.
I think it'll be close between them. And I think Chicago will still be up there, but I don't really like their defense look bad. I don't either. Is Jordan Love that good, or is the defense that bad?
Yeah.
I kind of think it's both. Like,
That was a
I think their
combination.
defense is bad, but I liked what I seen out of Jordan Love.
And let's just say this, as a confidence builder for Jordan Love, that was a hell of a start.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be really good as well.
Yeah.
But now we're going to get into some quarterbacks that struggled, and we're going to stay right on this game. Justin Fields, I know that me and Ty have been big saying this all along. I mean, even Andy and Muss have been like, they like him, but they're not like some of these people that are all in on him.
Yeah.
I know you're a little more hesitant as well, but what I seen with the 2023 Bears is exactly what I seen from the 2022 Bears. I said this like during the game on Twitter. You know, the thing is, man, they cannot protect Justin Fields. He took hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was no good. I mean, we've seen him struggle to throw the ball on the outside yet again until we got down to garbage time. I believe Justin Fields only had 150 yards passing or around there until garbage time took place.
Yeah.
So that wasn't good. The play calling's atrocious. They got a defensive-minded coach in Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
And yet again, you know, it's going back to what we said, man. You're taking away Justin Fields' best abilities. I did not see them roll him out much, get him on the move, try to let him do some design quarterback runs. I didn't see any of that. All I seen was this typical offense where they're trying to have him throw outside the numbers. They don't have the offensive line to do it, and that's not his strength. So you're going back to, you got coaching problems in Chicago. You got offensive line problems in Chicago. You got Justin Fields, who still has not developed into an elite passer. I know everyone was big on the DJ Moore thing. What did he have, 4 points? I mean, it's just going back to they're not using them. They're not utilizing them. And, you know, it's just not being schemed up. And Justin Fields has to improve, and the offensive line's bad. So there's just so many combinations in there with Chicago that make me hesitant. But I'm going to go over to Ann because I know you got a thought on your mind.
I thought at the beginning of the game, he was in stride. He was throwing some good balls, but there's nothing really downfield. And I'm like you, they're not using DJ Moore. Now, that's a coaching issue to me. You got to find ways to get DJ Moore the ball.
Right.
I mean, I know Jair Alexander's on the other side, and it's a tougher defense, but you got to move him around. Put him in the slot. Move him to the left. Move him to the right. They just seemed to put him where he was and didn't look at him.
What bubble screens, reverses. I mean, like, to me, when you got a player that kind of caliber, you got to try to get the ball in his hands any way you can.
Yeah, I mean,
And
look at what happened in the preseason game.
Yeah, exactly. On a screen.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They threw a slant across, I don't know, it was on the left side. They threw a slant. He broke a tackle, broke another tackle, got down in the red zone. The crowd went wild. They want to see that.
Yeah.
Why are you going away from it? It's a coaching issue. And we still have questions about Justin Fields' ability to throw it downfield.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, even short stuff, to be honest. So
Yeah.
we got to see more out of him. It is week one. Nobody played great. I'm worried more, I think, from a coaching standpoint. They got to do something different. They got to quit checking it down all the time. They're down 21 points and just committed to the run.
Yeah.
They can't throw it down the field more than 10 yards. It was really, really bad.
Roshan looked good, though.
Yeah, Roshan looked good.
Yeah.
I thought out of all of it, Roshan looked really good.
Roshan was like the bright spot of the whole Chicago Bears team.
Yeah.
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 Musk, can I ask you something? How
Yeah.
about them Bears, huh?
Yeah, I know. I thought they were gonna play a little tougher.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. I was with
Yeah.
you, Moss. I thought they'd play a lot tougher than that.
I'm so concerned about Justin Fields, man. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna win many games. I just don't. And not even just from Justin Fields' talent standpoint, they're just a mess. I mean, they are an absolute mess. Their team is garbage. I mean, they're horrible. They got horrible coaching staff. I just don't see them winning many games. I don't know if they would replace Justin Fields if they had a high enough pick, but I just cannot see this guy being an elite passer in this league. I mean, he just cannot get it going. I mean, unless it's like from a standpoint of where it's just the coaching, I don't know. But if it isn't, the guy I don't think has it.
And can I say this? I agree with you. The coaching, to me, is the biggest issue. They got to get someone like a Matt LaFleur in there. You know, that's what they have to do. Someone that can develop an offense, try to play to Justin Fields' strengths, because that's what you have to do. But the thing is, man, the offensive line is bad. I mean, it did not improve any. You know, I know some people are saying, oh, it might be a little bit. No, it's not good.
It's bad.
They got after Justin Fields. They got after the running backs. Roshan played a good game. Now, I did like what I seen with Roshan, but a lot of that come in garbage time too. So, but I do think that he's probably the best back they got. But the defense, man, for Green Bay just ate the Chicago Bears offensive line for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
I watched that game, so that's bad. I mean, and that's something that they have to improve on. Another thing, Chase Claypool. I don't know if you guys seen this.
Yeah, the
but-
drop screen.
Oh, the drop screen, but they were showing like him walking around. He run this route. It was the most pitiful thing. And if you guys YouTube it, you'll see it. It was the most pitiful looking route. Like he literally
It's
was
bad.
jogging, maybe even like semi walking. I mean, it was
bad.
that bad. And it's just, that's the Chicago culture. And I feel damn bad for the Bears fans because I know they're a passionate team, but they got to do something to fix this.
Justin Fields gets a good matchup against the Buccaneers next week, so
Yeah.
he's really got to come out and kind of show a little bit of something.
Yeah, throwing the ball.
Yeah,
I want to see something throwing the ball. We know he can run.
Right.
We know he can run. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't really even run good last week, but yeah.
but I don't think he'll ever be an elite passer. I need
No.
him just to be. I need him to be average. I don't need him to even be Jalen Hurts. I just need him to be like.
Lamar Jackson.
Well, I mean, better than that.
Yeah.
I need him to be maybe like Cam Newton was pretty good at throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him an elite passer, but a damn good one.
He was damn good.
I need to see something like that. And that's probably ignorant to say. He's probably close to elite, but I need good passing out of him.
Right.
We need to see something more than 5 to 10 yard checkdowns.
And let's just
Yeah.
say this. Chicago has to beat Tampa Bay. I mean, I know Tampa Bay upset Minnesota, but this is the kind of game they have to win. If they lose this, they drop to 0-2.
Let's put it on a worry meter. Where are we on a worry meter?
On Fields or the Bears?
On Fields.
10.
You're at a 10.
10. And it's not even just I'm trying to back my point up. It's the guy just cannot throw a football. I've seen it. I don't know how people can sit there and say he's an elite or he's going to be a good passer. I mean, there's a lot of people sit there and say, "Oh, I've seen glimpses."
I'm at
Where?
I'm at a 10, not from a fantasy perspective, because we know he's going to run around and get points during games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying this from a fantasy perspective. I'm at a 10 from Chicago's going to replace him if he don't start playing better, because it doesn't matter. They're going to point the finger at the quarterback. I know that there's other problems, but you know how it goes in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the coaching, the next person to get the
Well,
fingers, the coaching or the quarterback.
Just let me add in too. The Bears have never really had an elite quarterback, and Jay Cutler. I mean, he even won quite a few games for the
Mhm.
Bears back then. Rex Grossman took them to the Super Bowl.
better defense, so that's
yeah,
way better defense.
you're
Yeah.
right, but like they're not good quarterback, but they still won games. I know that the Bears defense isn't good, but it doesn't matter. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, you got to at least win some games. They don't win games.
And this is a game you have to win.
Yeah.
To me, I know, like I said, Tampa Bay beat Minnesota, and you got to realize Tampa Bay is going to be up for it. I mean,
Mhm.
they're going to be ready
Oh, yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
So, but as far as like a talent perspective goes and what we expected from the Bears, you have to beat Tampa Bay.
Right.
Is it-
How about you, Moss?
I think I'm at like a 6 or 7. I mean, there was a lot of quarterbacks that looked bad. I mean, he still has a lot to prove, obviously, but I'd give him another week.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm at like a 5.
Yeah.
I honestly
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was week 1. We seen
Yeah.
a lot of guys struggle, and I'm more worried about the coaching staff than I am
Yeah,
him. I
I
mean,
am
they got to
too.
find ways to get him open passing lanes, not get rushed so much, and more of a. I thought they had a decent balanced attack, but more of just like maybe getting him out of the pocket, like you said, TJ, getting
Yeah.
him on the roll.
I didn't see any of that.
No, we didn't see anything. It was very cut and dry. Finding ways to get DJ Moore the ball.
Find a way to get Chase Claypool's head in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need Justin Fields to throw, I mean, all the time like a strike on a slant. Just make it catchable.
Right.
Give me fantasy points. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And like TJ said, find ways to win games. I mean,
You have to.
yeah.
And like I said, as hyped as Chicago is, you got to win this one.
So as a question here, who would you rather take in a trade, Anthony Richardson or Justin Fields?
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
I would take Richardson from what I seen.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the kid
Take
put,
Richardson.
a kid put the team on his back against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I loved the way he approached it.
And guess what? Anthony Richardson threw the ball really well with no receivers. Really, he had Pittman.
Right.
And that this is what I've been saying. You cannot keep circling back to Justin Fields has no receivers. A lot of these guys don't have anybody, and they can still throw the ball pretty well.
I still think Anthony Richardson will have his struggles this year.
He
Being a
definitely
rookie.
will.
Yeah,
He definitely
rookie.
will.
Oh, but that
But-
division's so easy.
Mm.
And I'll say this now: if I could get Anthony Richardson plus for Justin Fields, I'm doing it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if I can get plus, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I straight up though.
I don't straight up like equal like I don't know. Like I like trying to
I
get the plus.
I mean, they go right after each other in ADP, so it ain't like a big jump.
Yeah.
There's just so many people hyped on Justin Fields, though. I think like if you kick the tires, you could maybe get a plus, but it's going to be tougher after this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely is. Well, we'll see what the Bears do. We're going to keep our eyes on that. Now we're going to go over this one hits close to home. And I'll tell you, Bears fans, we're kind of with you on this. Talk about depressing.
Oh.
The Steelers, man, Kenny Pickett did not look good. I mean, just cut and dry. I mean, the offensive line still got their issues as well. It wasn't quite as bad as Chicago, but it was bad. The 49ers beat them up and took their lunch money as well. But Kenny Pickett, man, did not look good, man. He missed open receivers.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought he was a lot more accurate than that, but he's got to clean it up. The throwing game with the Steelers has a lot to be desired, and it's going back to a lot of the same things we said about the Bears. The Steelers have the same problem. Defensive-minded coaching staff. They have an offensive line that we thought was going to be improved that I'm still not that impressed with. You got Matt Canada, who absolutely sucks.
He's horrible.
And they still will not get rid of him. I don't know why. They run they throw a pass to George Pickens first play of the game for 6 yards. Boom, okay. Good play to get in rhythm. What do they follow it up with? A jet sweep that loses 4 yards. Horrible play calling. This isn't high school football.
Did you guys see on the 8-yard line? So like we're in the red zone, 8-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
He ran 4 verticals.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
Did you guys see that? Like everybody in nobody was open because I mean
and they're running a zone. If you're running a zone, even if you're running a man, try to cross it up.
Yeah, something.
Do
fade
or run the ball. I mean, we
Yeah.
ran the ball 9 times.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Run the football 9 times. Now, I know it's a blowout and you're chasing the game, whatever, but it doesn't matter. At that point, you got to try to control the game, control the ball a little bit, possess the ball. Running it 9 times, that's pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, Najee broke off, 24-yard run.
Yeah.
And, I mean, looked okay. I know he got stopped a couple times. They do have fast, good linebackers. Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner.
Yeah,
really good. But when you become one-dimensional, you're screwed. And another thing, too, is whenever it was in the 2-minute, when we drove, 95 yards or whatever,
Yep.
that was Kenny Pickett with the play. That's not Matt Canada.
Yeah.
What'd we do? We scored.
We see this every time.
And that's why with Kenny Pickett, if we put a worry meter on it, I'm at like an 8. I'm really worried about Kenny Pickett, and not necessarily Kenny Pickett as a player. I'm worried because we go out with the plan, and when the plan gets fucked, we're screwed because we can't make adjustments. Obviously, adjustments needed to be made, and they weren't.
Yeah.
On the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball.
You can cut this any way you want it. We got out-coached thoroughly.
Oh, yeah.
Thoroughly out-coached.
Yeah, and going into the game, Tomlin didn't have the guys prepared. I mean, that's just another point. Offensive line, I think they're mid-pack, but they can't handle the elite defenses.
Nope.
I mean, I don't want to keep sticking up for Kenny Pickett. Just 'cause he's my quarterback's Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. He missed a lot of throws.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can't really be, excusable in this game. I think really everyone collectively played like shit.
Yeah.
I think that's what we
Yeah.
all had to agree on. Canada's got to go before this season's a wash. I mean, they got to do something quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
And I don't think they will.
Did you guys see T.O. was at the facility yesterday?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Terrell Owens. I don't know. They said he wasn't in there for a tryout, so it wasn't that he was going to play receiver. So it's like, what is he doing?
I don't know.
Deontay is missing 4 weeks. It came up as a notification here. So
Yeah.
could he go on the IR? He might go into short-term IR.
Yeah.
I'm done with Deontay Johnson. I mean, it's always something, and I know players get hurt, but there's always something with him. Either he runs backwards, he fumbles. I mean, he's the most inconsistent player you ever seen. He gets hurt all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the man made of glass. That's what I call him.
And I'm getting worried about George Pickens in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's starting to get frustrated.
Yeah, they don't throw the ball downfield.
No.
They just everything's close to the line, and we've seen it with Chicago. The same thing, just short, 10 yards, and that if that. I
it's
mean,
almost like Matt Canada still thinks he has Ben.
yeah,
Ugh.
and I don't understand why, because I know Kenny Pickett can throw it down the field.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
We've seen it.
But I think Ty hit this on the head. I think we'll be okay, against some of these teams, but these elite defenses.
We'll go 500. That's what we always do.
Oh, yeah. But these elite defenses, we're going to have trouble with because we cannot control them up front. We used to pride ourselves on both sides of the ball, offensive line, defensive line, controlling the line of scrimmage. We can't do that anymore.
No.
Another thing that was weird, not to keep like harping on the Steelers and everything, but Darnell Washington looked really good against Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Incredible blocker.
Yeah, Bosa.
Incredible.
I don't know. I don't understand why they don't run a 2 tight end set
Yeah.
and run the fucking ball.
I know.
Run the ball, and
What-
then that'll open up everything.
I don't know. I was
It's because you're intelligent. That's why. These guys up.
but it don't take a rocket scientist.
No.
Like,
Yeah. I was sitting there saying that too. I was like, why not just throw him in there every play?
Yeah, he looked
Take
good.
out Bosa.
Yeah, let him even chip him and go downfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a little pass route or something. But yeah, going back to what you said about Kenny Pickett, I'm at about a 6.5. I mean, I would have been like at, as low as can be before this game, but I didn't like what I seen him missing open receivers. I go back to what Ty said. The whole team played like garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll see what happens, but I do think it gets better as far as like when we play softer competition.
Yeah.
But we need to run the football.
And all you Mike Tomlin fans out there, if you listen to anything local, he's getting ripped apart.
He should be.
Yeah.
He is.
He should be.
He is, because I think a lot of people from a fantasy aspect listen to one or two guys and they love Mike Tomlin. And if you listen to anything local, he didn't get an extension.
No, thank
It's
God.
not. Yeah, I mean it. I'm not saying his days are numbered, even though they should be. But I'm saying he is starting to take some heat.
That's
What-
good.
We're sick of going 500.
Yeah, and losing the first round of the playoffs if we
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if we get there, because we're clawing and fighting our way in for a wild card spot
and that,
every
and
year.
that AFC is packed this year. So
Mhm.
after that week 1 performance, I'm not so sure we do get in.
No, me either.
And as far as the Steelers go as a whole from a fantasy perspective, I go back, like I said, one more time to what Ty said. If they're playing good competition, I'm hesitant to start anybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's softer competition, okay, I feel better about it. But going up against a team like the 49ers, like we've seen, I'm not as in a big hurry to put them in my lineup. I'm just not.
And just one more thing, and I'm going to go back to what Andy said, and he's completely right. Whenever shit don't go right, they do just collapse.
Yeah, we cannot make any adjustments.
It's I've never seen a team like that before.
No.
Really, I haven't. It's unbelievable.
Nope.
Right.
Now we're going to go over now. Andy must have had a shitty weekend because we're going over to the next team, in the daytime, he's disappointed. Then when he went to bed, he's even more disappointed because the New York Giants and Daniel Jones, man, played the Cowboys. And I give credit to Ty on this. Ty had Daniel Jones on a sit-'em show. We go back to what we said about the Cowboys. Ty brought this up. The Giants have lost to the Cowboys, 10 times
I
in
think
a
it's
row?
11 now.
11 times in a row. So the Cowboys really have the Giants number. It was shitty conditions. I mean, it was like a monsoon out there. So I'm going to go to you first. And the Giants, I mean, it was horrible, 40-0.
Yeah.
But I want to see what you think because I know you follow this situation.
So I'm not blaming it really on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones notoriously does not play the Cowboys that good.
No,
He doesn't. I think he averages 15
it's
points.
15. Yep.
15, yeah. So he doesn't usually play him great. But Saquon didn't look good. The offensive line looks horrible.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Dallas had 7 sacks. I mean, and he was under constant pressure. And now this was Saquon not looking good. Does this have to do with the holdout? Maybe not being at all the facility workouts
Yep.
and stuff in rhythm. They need to find ways to get Darren Waller the ball more. He's the only thing they have. Paris Campbell didn't really step up. Isaiah Hodgins seemed to struggle. And I mean, maybe Hodgins, he looked good at times last year. Maybe he'll get a little bit of work, but they need a receiver. They need a receiver, something fierce. They just nothing looked good for them. Just really sloppy football. So that's all I can really say. I mean, Dallas's defense is a real deal.
Yeah.
Dallas does have a good defense, but
yeah.
but they're investing in the line like Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal. They just drafted the center. Drawing a blank on his name. Yeah, Michael Smits or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're investing there, but it's not working out.
Oh my God.
But let me tell you this though. Dable is a coach that will make adjustments. He's a coach that will get them on the right track. Things will go up for the Giants. I don't know if they're where my expectations were up here. It might be a little bit more middle, but he'll make adjustments and things will get better.
Boy, I thought Kenny Pickett got rushed a lot on Sunday. I mean,
Oh,
Daniel
fuck.
Jones probably ran couple miles. That
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Holy shit! I mean, it was every play he was under
Yeah,
pressure.
it was.
I ain't gonna blame Daniel Jones. I mean, he really don't have too many guys to go to, especially whenever you're under pressure like that.
And they're only rushing 4.
Yeah,
They would only rush 4 and still get to him right away. So where's he throwing the ball? Because obviously everybody's back, and they didn't have to blitz. They just rushed 4 and would get to him.
And that goes back, and like Dable will make the adjustments. Like I have confidence in Brian Dable to fix whatever's going on, but like when you're doing that, whenever you see that, why are you just not running it 2 times?
Yeah.
I mean, the game's already out of hand. I mean, they should have handed it off a couple times and then tried to throw it on 3rd down or
Yeah.
mix it up, run it on 1st, throw it on 2nd, but they just seemed like they just wanted to keep dropping back and dropping back, and the Cowboys were just like pinning their ears back.
Yeah, when your offensive line's that bad, you're just screwed. There's just nothing. Like
No.
it's just time to hit the showers. I mean, they were probably wishing there was a mercy rule. But I'll give Daniel Jones credit. He didn't come off the field. They knew they lost the game, but he stayed in there and kept playing for a while.
Yeah, for sure. And I just the Giants. Like I said, I have confidence in them. But we're going to go over to another team, the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, playing the Los Angeles Rams. We knew the Rams. I mean, lost a lot of personnel on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Cooper Kupp's out for 4 weeks. Seattle had a good season last year. They should have really took care of business. Did not look good. Geno Smith. When we talked about it, did the clock strike midnight on Geno Smith and the Seahawks? Moss, what did you think of the Seahawks?
I didn't really watch that game, but what really sticks out to me in that game is the Rams. We always we sat here and thought the Rams were going to tank. We're going to be lucky to win 3-4 games probably.
Yeah,
they looked really good.
Yeah,
I mean Stafford put that team on his back. But yeah, the Seahawks. I don't know. That's kind of rough. They got a lot of mouths to feed, and Geno's got a.
Yeah, I like I said, I've seen it plenty of times,
Yeah.
man. I've seen these guys. We know who they are, and I feel bad because I like Geno. I love his characteristics, as a person.
Seems like he's a real team player, but
he just doesn't have it, I don't think. And I think we're going to continue to see, a regression. Again, 112 yards on 26 attempts. I mean, completed 16. He's not throwing the ball down the field.
Nope.
They got the one to Metcalf that was it wasn't even that long. It was like a sluggo route. Maybe 20 yards for the touchdown. But other than that, I know Lockett got banged up, but you got JSN still. He just can't find people, man.
And the Rams defense is horrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what's concerning. They're not a good defense.
I think they have 1 first-round pick on their whole defense, on their whole depth chart for the defense. That's Aaron Donald.
Mhm.
So I mean, that they were talking about that on Fantasy Football, and now coming in, they're like, "Whoa, man, Geno Smith, he's gonna torch these guys all night long." And
I thought it'd be better than what he played, and I'm not a Geno
I
believer.
mean, imagine if they were playing San Fran on that day.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that clip of Geno mic'd up and Aaron Donald's running after him? He's like,
Shit!
I've seen him where he's like, "Oh my god."
yeah. I don't know. It's
So let me ask you this:
Do they
the Seattle offense, and this one is for me is a concern. How concerned are you? Worry meter on Geno Smith?
Oh, I mean, it's right up there at 8 to 10 because I was going into the season, and I don't think he's going to take a big step forward. This is a team. Look, maybe the Rams win a little bit more than what I thought, but I still don't think they're going to go crazy.
No.
And a lot of it's because Stafford's injuries. I mean, this is week 1. Wait till he gets hit a couple times. Is he going to be able to hold up?
yeah.
Stenson Bennett, I believe, is on the IR. So
There's so many teams, and this is why I wanted to bring this up. There's so many teams out there that are counting on Geno Smith in a quarterback 2 situation because of what we've seen last year. And I'm with you. I'm concerned. I'm at a 9 right now.
Yeah.
I don't like what I see. If I have Metcalf, Lockett, JSN, I'm worried because they got to get the ball in their hands. Like you said, the Rams are nothing special on defense. I mean, I know it's a division game and it is week 1, but we know what Geno Smith used to be. He had a great season last year, and you can't take that away from him, but it's 1 year.
Yeah.
No, I tuned into a lot of Seahawks preseason games just because I love Drew Lock. They play Drew Lock a lot. Like, did Pete Carroll? Did he want to see something?
Come on, Moss.
No, I'm being legit. Like they didn't bring in a third stringer,
Right.
Because I watched it. They didn't bring in a third stringer. They didn't play Geno that much.
I mean, it could happen.
I
It could happen.
I'm kind of curious. 'Cause
He's more of a slinger down the field.
Yeah.
They kind of need that. I mean, we need to quit. They need to quit checking down so much. But again, a lot of these guys were checking down.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Not going to get any easier for him playing the confident Lions. So
Oh,
Yeah, and if I honestly, if I have Geno Smith, I'm looking, could I trade Geno Smith and get like Brock Purdy, Jared Goff? Could I get someone like
I
that?
doubt it.
I doubt it,
No.
but I'm just saying, like, if he has a good game, I would try to get off that train.
I think Brock Purdy's value just shot up
Oh, yeah.
tremendously.
Yeah.
Like, if you can somehow get him for a single first, I would. But I don't think you're not getting him off my roster for at least 2 firsts.
Oh, I like Brock Purdy too, but there's still a lot of people that ain't in love with him. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I think you got to try to strike while the iron's hot. And what I'm saying is, with Geno Smith, with players like that, I mean, obviously you're not going to get into the tier of the elite quarterbacks, but could I get someone like a Goff? Could I get someone like a Purdy? It's worth at least trying, because if it works out, at least maybe you avoided a disaster, because like I said, when I was opening this up, there's a lot of teams that are counting on Geno Smith as a quarterback too.
Yeah.
also to add in, Seahawks did sign Jason Peters. I don't know if that will help him. I know he's getting pretty old, but
Yeah, it can't be any worse than what they had. Probably.
yeah.
So that's going to do it for the teams that we're worried about and the players that we're worried about. Like I said, some of this could linger all season. Some of it might just be a week 1 anomaly.
Yeah.
I know, like the Bengals, we didn't bring the Bengals up just because I think that ship's going to get righted, no problem.
And as expected, I just want to talk about this real quick. Kenneth Walker got the bulk of the work.
Yep.
So
Yep.
a lot of people worry about Charbonnet. I know it's week 1.
There you go, Moss.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker. And he didn't really do a ton with them, but he did get the work.
I know Charbonnet burned me in a couple leagues.
And say Muss was in shambles on Sunday. No Drew Lock, no Charbonnet.
Yeah,
Justin
yeah,
Fields
right.
looked like shit.
Denver lost to
Denver
the Raiders.
lost.
Yeah.
Steelers got
I didn't-
slaughtered.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
It was
weekend
a
for
bad
Muss.
week 1.
Bad week 1.
Terrible. You guys got to think that's 7% of your fantasy season right there.
Yeah.
Don't say that, Moss.
Yep.
7%. But week 1's always a crapshoot.
It is. I know. I'm not putting too much stock into it. No.
And to touch on one other thing real quick, the rookie quarterbacks to me all look good. I was happy with what
Yeah.
I seen, because it's tough when you're coming in and playing your
Yeah.
first game, and they all were starting. CJ Stroud played a tough game against the Baltimore Ravens. I said this on Stardom Sit 'em. That's a terrible team to start your NFL career out against.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
the
is.
Ravens ain't one of the elite defenses anymore. But like Jimmy said, they're a consistent defense. They're a team that always prides themselves on defense. So that they were going to throw some exotic stuff at the young guy.
Yeah.
But he hung in there and he didn't look bad. And then Bryce Young playing Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta blew their doors off, but we all know, they run the ball 50,000 times and they just couldn't stop it. But Bryce Young didn't look bad either. I mean, he threw a touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
Not horrible. And I do think he'll improve, but Carolina needs a lot of help.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't too like disenchanted with his performance either. But going into also with, like we said, with Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson, kid looked great.
Yep.
Really happy with the way he played. He gave Jacksonville quite the scare.
Mm-hmm.
So the rookie quarterbacks look good too. So that's encouraging. We'll see what they do going into week 2, but I was happy with the performances.
Oh, for sure.
Thought they were solid for their first starts. But now I wanted to bring up some players, some value players, some good value players that you guys are looking at. And I'm going to start over here with Muss first. Muss, a value player right now that you're looking at that maybe no one sees any value in, that you think is going to get points throughout the year.
Yeah. That's what, when we talked about this, I was sitting there trying to think of somebody. I really like Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
I mean, in that Lions offense, it really has nobody else.
Yeah.
Jared Goff's slinging it, and Reynolds scored 14, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I could see that pretty much till James or Williams comes back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And two, I mean, hey, maybe he's still involved a little bit with that.
and I
one.
mean, what do you have to pay for Josh Reynolds? He's probably on your waiver wire.
Yeah, he could be. 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
yeah. And I love finding value like that in guys.
It's more of a throw-in piece, maybe.
Yeah. And hey, and that's a great piece as a rebuilder, especially like if you're looking for someone that can get you points in the short term. Like if you're getting draft capital, you could have someone throw in a Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
Or Sean Payton pisses me off. I mean, you got Marvin Mims over there, then you throw in little Jordan Humphries.
Like,
Little Jordan,
oh yeah, that's
the
another
ex-Saint.
thing. How about Marvin Mims?
Yeah.
Woo. Hey, look pretty good.
Hey, Jay said didn't look any better. Yeah.
Before we get into Ty's player, Ty, I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. Who scored more points, Samaje Perine or Javonte Williams?
I don't know. Let's bring that up, Moss. I really wasn't thinking about it. You want to answer that, Moss?
Yeah, I know.
Samaje.
Yeah, it's just week one. They're easing Javonte.
That's right. That's right.
They're easing him.
I was surprised Ty did not jump on Moss.
I forgot. He did look pretty good against the Lily Raiders.
He did.
But now we're going over to Ty. Ty, one value player that you think you can get for a decent price that's going to get points this year.
This kind of goes out to like a lot of Deontay Johnson owners. I'd target Allen Robinson. Kenny Pickett really looked to be going his way. He was kind of one of the bright spots on the team. He led the team in the receiving, 5 of 8 targets, 64 yards against the 49ers, and we absolutely got our doors blown off. So there's going to be better days for us going ahead. And if you need someone to fill in for Deontay, Allen Robinson at 30 years old, I think you could probably get him on cheaper. I don't think he'll be super cheap, but cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another option there is Calvin Austin.
I mean,
it looked like
good
he was
too.
explosive with the ball in his hands. I mean, and he was targeted a bunch.
Yeah.
So
I think they'll probably put Austin to the outside and put Robinson in the slot.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they both look pretty good.
yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, my player that I'm going to be picking up for value, I think is going to get points this year, is little Jordan Humphries. Oh, wait, no, sorry, Mus. That's not it. I knew Mus would hate that. But no, honestly, the player I'm looking at that could get some points, it's a decent value, is Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
My God, that Atlanta running game, there's no secret on what they want to do. They come out, threw the ball very rarely. Drake London didn't even have a catch. We'll get into some more of that here in just a second. But, they're going to run the ball. And I do think Tyler Algier has a role. And I'm not saying to pick him up and start him as your RB1. Definitely not. But if you're a little thin at running back, he's a guy to have on your bench, especially as a contender that you can get for cheap. To me, like if you have an injury or if you have a bye week, he's like a desperation play. He could get you to 6 to 10 points, I think, even with Bijan there, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
So I really like his value. I think you can get him fairly cheap. Now, if he's on a team where Bijan, like the person has Bijan, it's going to be tougher because that's their handcuff. But if someone just has Tyler Algier sitting there, especially, possibly a rebuilder, it might want some draft capital. You can maybe trade a later round pick and get a Tyler Algier.
Just seems like there's no bell cow anymore.
No.
This is just not real.
Right.
We're not in the early 2000s. Like
No.
even Bijan, I mean, even Brees. I know he's injured, but it's still probably going to be 60-40 at most, 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just going to see that throughout the NFL. How efficient can you be with what you get?
Even Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford.
I know. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Very close split.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe Ford
And
had
they're-
like 15 to 18 carries.
And that's why I like Tyler Algier. Last year, 1,000-yard rusher. I mean, when he is on the field, he's making the most of his opportunities. And
Mhm.
I think that's a solid play, and you can get him for a good price.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over to you, one player of value after week 1 that you think is going to get points this year.
Oh, I got 2. I mean, Puka Nacua is one of them, but I think everybody's on Puka Nacua. I mean, looked absolutely great.
Yeah.
Somebody I compared said he had Cooper Cup-like traits, and he got thrown into the Cooper Cup role.
But we got to tone it down a little bit. I have a trade offer out the tie right now for
I just seen it was Andy's, and it's going to be a late round second, so you can get fucked, Moss.
Yeah, I'm big on Puka Nacua, but the guy I want to talk about here is Joshua Kelly. And we know in this offense, it's a Kellen Moore offense. He uses 2 backs. And even when Eckler was in, Kelly looked good. Eckler's dealing with an ankle injury, so as we said, it could linger all year possibly. And, I mean, he looked really good. A lot better than I even thought. I knew he was going to be the handcuff, be used as, 2 backs. But if he gets a chance to really take over the reins in this offense where they're running people downfield, I think Josh Kelly could be a really good value, probably on your waiver wire. With the Eckler news, it's probably going to be hard to acquire him. I mean, you're probably going to have to give up a second. Would I give up a second for Josh Kelly? I don't know. I just hope to get him on the waiver wire. I don't know if I could give up a second.
Yeah.
Maybe a throw-in piece. Could you use somebody that has a little bit of hype? Who's some guys that maybe had some hype, that you could move. I'm trying to acquire him for probably. Oh, don't do Puka Nakua. Don't do that because I like Puka. But could I throw as much as we said, like we liked Allen Robinson? If I
Yeah.
needed a running back, I think I would make that move because Allen Robinson is 30.
Right.
You could get a chance to get a good handcuff and a guy that's going to be utilized in an elite offense. I
Right.
think that would be a good move to make.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he's a guy I'm looking at.
Yeah, I like that, and that was all really good. And, you know, as far as week one goes, like I said, you know, there's a lot to take in. And I think like we mentioned at the opening of the show, the one thing you cannot do is over panic and sell players
Yeah.
for next to nothing just because of one bad performance.
Yeah.
I say always, you know, about week 3 or 4, we should have a good pulse of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. But, you know, it was an interesting week, kind of a shitty week at the same time. We've seen some players get hurt. You don't like to see that. I mean, that throws a monkey wrench into everybody's plans. But, yeah, that's going to do it for the week 1 recap. Now, we're going to have to do this every week because we love doing it. And I cannot wait to see who everyone has on this. But we're going to be doing the underdog stack of the week again here, boys. As we all know, Dynasty DNA is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code DNA, and Underdog will match up to your first deposit up to $100. So you can't beat that. So make sure to use that promo code DNA, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. But Underdog stack of the week, I'm going to start over here with Muss first. Muss, who's your Underdog stack of the week this week?
I got a pretty I don't want to say cheap because I mean I guess you're drafting, but guys you can get kind of late. It's Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans. I mean they really looked in sync there last week. Baker kind of looks like a new quarterback. Didn't throw any interceptions. He was more like a game manager, which is like not like Baker Mayfield. But like maybe we're seeing a new Baker. They would have combined for about 34 points last week, and you know they're probably late round guys. I mean, and they're going up against the Chicago Bears, which Jordan Love tore apart. So
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. Muss, Ty, your Underdog stack of the week?
Yeah, mine's a little more obvious. I'm going to go Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs versus the Raiders. I just think the Bills are going to bounce back this week. They almost have to after that loss to the Jets. Obviously, one of the bright spots of that Buffalo offense was Stephon Diggs, and I still think he's going to have a monster game against the Raiders. And I think Josh Allen has to bounce back after that horrible performance.
Yeah, I think that he's going to have a lot of pressure too, and I think he'll deliver.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, like you said, you know, they're kind of riding a little high after a win, but the Bills, I think that they need it. So they're going to be playing good football. And even Allen and Diggs looked okay last week. I mean, I know the turnovers with Allen, but the connection was there. So that's good.
Yep.
We're going to go over to me now, my Underdog stack of the week. And I'm going to go a little bit more off the rails like Muss. I'm going to go Anthony Richardson and Michael Pittman going up against the Houston Texans.
I said that one too.
Yeah,
that was an option.
I think that's going to be just because what we've seen with Pittman, like we talked during the show. I mean, there is no one else there. They're going to force feed him the football, so you know he's going to be seeing target after target. And like I said, I liked what I seen out of Anthony Richardson against Jacksonville, playing Houston. Nicer matchup.
Yeah,
Should do good. Should do good as far as a later, cheaper stack. I think. But we're going to go over here to and your Underdog stack of the week.
I'm going to go A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. And the big reason why, obviously they're both good, but I think a lot of people are big on thinking Devon is a new alpha there. It's still A.J. Brown. I like Smith. He's great. The Eagles kind of were struggling a bit against the Patriots. Tough matchup. I think they're going to get it right this week against the Vikings, who can definitely be exposed in the secondary because still not a Baker believer. Baker Mayfield's out there looking like Brett Favre. So I'm going to go with Brown here. I think he's going to have a monster game against the Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. And, we kind of give you a little variety. Me and Muss went a little bit more off the rails.
Yeah.
Ty and Ann went a little bit more like, these guys, we know what they are, but the matchup's really good.
Yeah.
So that's good. Kind of give you a nice variety. One last thing I want to talk about here before we hop off is some of these players that had bad games. And I'm talking T. Higgins. I'm talking Dallas Goedert. I'm talking Drake London.
DeAndre Swift.
Swift.
I've dropped my head in shame.
DeAndre Swift, not so much, but like them receivers, especially if there's any discounts on any of them players, please take full advantage of it.
Yep.
Because, it's just one game, as we mentioned. They will pick it up, and their trade value will also go up once, that happens. So if you have an owner that just wants to get rid of a player like that because of a bad game, take advantage of it.
And depending on the price.
Yeah.
I'm worried about some of them.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the price for sure. But I mean, this. I mean, I've had so many people message me, should I trade this guy now? Should I not?
Yeah.
I mean, all I'm saying is if you get a lopsided deal for a talent like a T. Higgins, you take it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. But this is going to do it for the week 1 reaction show. Like I said, we talked a lot of this stuff. It was a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, some of it may linger, some of it may not. But we're going to find out more as we go on. Week 2 is just right around the corner. We're going to have tabs on it. And as I mentioned before, guys, join the Discord channel, the Dynasty DNA Discord. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. It's a great place to talk football. We can talk trade, player values. We'll go over all that with you. But make sure you follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Google, Amazon. We're on all the big podcasting platforms, guys. I say it each and every week. The DNA Strand Crew, you guys are the best. We've grown, and grown. Make sure to be watching out for the other shows. I know Andy's going to be coming out with the Fantasy Football Power Hour here real soon. Ty and Muss and Jimmy will be dropping the next episode of Fantasy Feud. And I know Sterling and Big E is going to be doing a little DFS show tonight, talking about the Thursday night game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you're into DFS, you got to check that stuff out as well. But yeah, this is going to do it. We wish you good luck going into week 2 in all your games. We'll see you all in the next episode of Dynasty DNA.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast. Become a part of the DNA Strand Crew today over on Discord, and be sure to check out the website dynastydna.net for all important fantasy football information. And follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_.